Peace world, what's good? It's Wyking. We're here again at the Black Dot Underground Africatown Media Studios for another session. And we have a very special guest in the building today, as we always do. Artist, creative, entrepreneur, community builder, our very own Stephanie Morales, founder of AXSM Arts. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you.
It's good to have you in the building today to
Be in the building.
talk about some things. What you got going on? You buzzing out here, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, using art to build community. That's a great thing, you know. So for those who don't know, Stephanie Morales, let us know a little bit about, you know, your journey to this point.
Currently, you know, I'm an artist. I teach, I do murals, I curate art events, I do whatever I can to use art to gather people together. But I've always loved art. As a kid, you know, I used to kind of get in trouble for drawing and painting on things that I wasn't supposed to,
Right.
which is fine because I get paid for that now.
Yeah. Hey, how's that, Mom?
It's good. It's good. Exactly. But yeah, so I put it down actually for a very long time, for like almost 10 years. I didn't draw, paint, anything, just because, you know, my dad was an artist who gave it up to become an accountant. And so he was just like trying to push me towards being practical, be practical, you know. So I did that for a little bit. Man, it was hard. It was hard to, because it's like I always wanted to, I had that calling to go back to what I really loved, but I was trying to be pragmatic, is what he said. So I was trying to do that, but I picked it up on a whim, probably like 6 or 7 years now. But I was at an art supply store, picked up some equipment, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna try it. And I posted something on Instagram, power of social media.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, I want to buy that. And I was like, oh, what?
It's that easy, right?
I was like, okay, I don't know, like $20. I didn't even know, like, you know. And then it happened a couple more times, and then I kind of started seeing like maybe this is like a thing, you know.
So, so it just organically grew back into place, even though you tried to put it to the side. Yeah. Sometimes that's how things flow, right?
Absolutely.
And where does your inspiration come from?
I mean, just from a lot of artists around me, whether they're famous artists, you know, throughout history, or more modern artists that are well known, or even local artists here, and just seeing everybody kind of do their thing is inspiring for me. And just seeing that there is actually a place for art to happen. And then also discovering originally through the paint and sip classes, I started realizing like, wait, this is a way to like kind of bring people together. And what I loved about it wasn't so much the paint classes themselves. They're fun and everything, but my favorite part is really just seeing people start to interact over artwork, right? You know. And so then that's where that kind of started inspiring me to be like, how else can I bring people together?
Okay.
With this?
So when did like AXSM Arts become a thing, right? So you know, you got your spark reignited, you started doing it, start having, you know, some success. When did it like, okay, I'm gonna make this a thing, you know?
I actually had a friend who you know, was very business driven, and he was like telling me how to go and get my LLC, and I saw him doing his thing, and so I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I see that it's something that's feasible to do. And so it was just really small steps. Just, okay, I'm gonna open my LLC, and then I'm gonna, you know. Then another friend said, hey, you should do paint and sip classes. So I did that. So honestly, it's like all these things started coming from people that were telling me like, hey, you should do this, you know, encouraging me and then supporting me in it, which was really great.
Having a good network, having good people around
Yeah,
you.
that's really, honestly. And then the entertainment side of it really came in when it's like I started realizing putting anything together is really just a matter of gathering people and realizing that around me, I have people that do all kinds of stuff. So why are we not getting together and doing something different?
Right,
you know?
Right. So what does AXSM Arts include today? You know, what are the different manifestations, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I've got my own personal artwork. I also am a creative curator, I guess you could say, you know, because I know a lot of artists. And so I love to be a place a person that says, hey, I have this opportunity, or I have this platform, or I have this, you know, this thing. And I love it, especially when somebody's like, oh, this is my first show, and they're so excited. So that's definitely an exciting thing.
Okay. So then you do, I've heard, like, Hard in the Paint.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Tell us
Oh,
about-
yeah. Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
yeah,
I got
think
you.
might, you know?
Yeah. I got three main things that I do, and so haven't done one in a while, but I got Breaks and Eggs, which is basically like a brunch day party thing. You know, we usually have some kind of food. It's been chicken and waffles with Nate's Wings and Waffles. Then we have music, and it's just a time to like come together and hang out. And then I've got Hard in the Paint, which is an art and music showcase. So we start with a paint and sip class, paint and trap class. And then we've got the art show, and then we've got the DJ lineups and musical performances during like kind of the after party portion of it. And then lastly, annually I have Hotbox Fashion Show. So that is basically a fashion show and concert together. So we've got multiple fashion lines, and then we've got in between there, we've got multiple performers kind of in intermission, beginning, intermission, and end. Okay. So, I mean, all of them are just kind of about showcasing. Even the Breaks and Eggs I've started partnering with people that are like, it's their book release, or it's like the griot party. They want to have spoken word event. So I started partnering to showcase other people's work.
Together we can always, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
More. Right.
Cross-pollinate audiences, you know. Man,
it's so these things are all growing, blossoming for you. Like, these are all like different little babies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What accomplishments and progress are you most proud of to this point?
I would say, well, in 2019, I would say I'm actually really proud of myself. I was able to take Hard in the Paint to LA, and that's a big leap, you know.
You're not catching feelings, you catching flights.
Right.
All right, we ain't mad, we not mad.
Right, you know, and it was awesome because I was able to connect with artists down there, and bring artists from here down there to make their own connections and have new audiences and new platforms. A matter of fact, one of the DJs that for the next Hard in the Paint is flying up from LA. Actually, one of the performers and one of the DJs are flying up. So now we're starting to cross, you know, where they're coming up and we're going down there. Expanding the network. Exactly.
That's what it's all about. So, you know, you're on the Africatown Media Network right now, so we got to talk about community, you know, and we got to talk about, obviously, the Central District. You know, what does the CD mean to you?
Well, you know, it's really, it's funny because it's like I'm not from there. I remember being around there, but I'm not from there. And so it's like being there now, because I live in the Liberty Bank building now. Being there now, it's like I feel such a sense of community, and I've never lived somewhere where everybody talks to each other. You say hi in passing. You might go to dinner with your neighbors. You say what's up. You know the people that are on the block, or the people that are, you know, the businesses around the area, and that means a lot to me. You know, it's something that I felt I was missing. So.
You're also a mother. We didn't talk about that. So what is that? You know, is that a good place you feel?
Absolutely.
As a mother with children growing up, like you feel like that's the Liberty Bank building, and the CD is a good place.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm finally able to be in a place where they can have a sense of community, real community. You know, versus where we're at before, maybe like your neighbors don't even talk to you. You don't know the kids across the street. You know, things like that. And it's like now. They know multiple people in our building. The people on the block are watching out for them, you know, just things like that. That's really important. That's what we know
from from growing up in the city, but you've been in Seattle, right? Mm-hmm. And you see, and you know, even if you weren't living in the city, you've seen how things have changed, right?
Yeah.
And not just in the city, but the city overall. What are your thoughts about you know, how things are changing, and how do you feel the impact?
Yeah. I mean, it's painful to watch it change, you know, even like I said, I'm not from there, but when I would come to the Central District, I remember being like, oh my God, there's so many Black and brown people around. Like, I was so happy, you know? And then, you know, it's kind of painful to see it change the way that it has. But I will say, like, these projects, like Liberty Bank, like Midtown, like down over on Jackson, like, it's crazy to me because I feel like it felt hopeless. And then to see it, like, wait, there's like a spark of hope that the community could potentially start coming back. That's really powerful to me. And it's something that, honestly, as optimistic as I am, like, I was like, damn, it's done. When they tore down like Red Apple, and I was like, it's gone, you know?
Yeah,
so,
I understand. A lot of people have felt that way, you know?
Yeah.
So you obviously, it sounds like you have good feelings and thoughts about projects like the Liberty Bank building.
They're so important. Yeah.
And just the general vision and work of Africatown to make sure that Black folks are still here, that there are Black people in the future, right? But not just physically here, but what are your thoughts about, you know, our work to make sure that we're also celebrated and honored in what's being built? Like, you live in the Liberty Bank building. How does the art, you know, for those that haven't been to the building, you know, as an artist, what's it like, you know, having that art that tells our stories in the building and on the buildings?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because you don't see that anywhere else. You don't see Black art, Black history, Blackness being celebrated anywhere else. And it's funny because when I have friends come over, they're like, oh, y'all got what's playing on the TV and the art, and they're all, you know, they're amazed because, yeah, it's not something that you see commonly. So, I mean, I love coming back home every day, you know, and then even the other day, it's just a different vibe, you know, like the other day I came home, and because of the way the shape of the building is, it's like a cove kind of, and I walk in and I hear like people laughing and people talking and a little music, and it was like, I really, no lie, I stood there for a minute and I was just like, man, I like it feels like life coming out of the building, you know? So, yeah.
Well, that's powerful. And we appreciate that, you know, creatives and community builders like yourself. We really wanted to, you know, see community builders in the building because we're striving to rebuild our community. Yes. And so if we could concentrate these folks, they could collaborate, then this will be like an epicenter, but it will grow out, you know. So,
ripple out to the rest of the community for sure. And there are tons of creatives in the building, definitely, and community builders in the building for sure.
And you've been a part of, you know, keeping the culture and creative energy alive, doing community-based projects, you know. Can you talk about what you've been doing with the community, like even in the building, right? And then what you have coming up in the building for people.
Yeah. Well, we did the Juneteenth event. So that was a liberation celebration. That was great. We had we put out a call to anybody that was like a business, creative, anything like that in the building and in the area. And I mean, we had the whole place filled up with different vendors and people talking about their art and their businesses. Then we had the paint and sip. We did a paint and sip sponsored by Africatown, all ages. And then we had some of the people that were involved in putting the art up on the building come and talk about why and give it a little more meaning for us, which was super interesting because there's stuff that I didn't know about. Now when I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's why that pattern, or that's why
Al
that.
Doggett and Esther Irvin who were the curators for the project.
Yep,
yeah, that's great.
absolutely.
So always, the stories are important, right?
They're super important. Yeah. I mean, as an artist, I know that the story behind something really matters. For sure. So that was great. And we're getting ready to do another kind of installment of it, a holiday celebration. And it's going to be a similar kind of layout where we'll have vendors. We'll do another paint and sip class. We'll have music, probably some snacks and stuff like that. And just a way for people in the building and in the area to get together and get to know each other more.
And this is all ages and intergenerational, right?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So that's great that you have that opportunity. And then you're also available for like organizations or groups that, you know, I mean, paint and sips are a great opportunity. I seen there was a community meeting, right, or education, the community, Africatown Community, and you came and brought the art, and it made the flow of conversation and exchange of knowledge so much easier.
Yeah, because it gives everybody a base experience. You're having a shared experience of maybe something that you're not too sure of. It's art. You got to be a little vulnerable, and it sparks conversation, which then leads to other types of conversation. It just kind of breaks the ice really, really well.
Yes. So, given your positive feelings and experience, which we are so great to hear, so glad to hear. What would you tell the people that whose mindset it has been more pessimistic, like, oh, it's gone and I should just give up and focus on Federal Way or something like that? What would be your thoughts now that you're there and have experienced this?
I mean, it's this is how any transition is. You have to let go of some of if you are so stuck on how it was, which, yes, we can honor that and we can wish that it was different, but it's not. And so you got to kind of give it its due respect and then say, okay, now what are we going to do? Like, yes, it was there, and no, it's not the same, but it's not something we should give up on, because look what's happening right now. Little by little,
right,
piece by piece, we're pulling it back, and not just pulling it back, but
pulling
building
it forward
into
right,
something brand new.
Right.
And so we need to look forward, not backwards. With all due respect to the past. But,
right. No, I mean, our idea is just to have living monuments,
yes,
right? That's what we look at the building as, a living monument, right?
Yes.
Not just like a plaque,
yes,
or a statue that's static, but something that is still, like you say, giving life. So
yeah.
So what does the future look like for you? What's the, what's some of the bigger visions, aspirations for you?
Well, I think a lot of it is I definitely want to keep honing in on those 3 main events that I have, and just continue to streamline them, with Harden the Paint, continue to expand and network outside of Seattle too, for not just for Harden the Paint itself, but for the artists that could cross paths that way, and the other events as well, and then also going into 2020, it's like, I need to get back to my art, because it's
That's
been
what happens
like
when you become a business person
Man.
and an administrator and organizer, right?
Yeah, and then you look and you're like, when's the last time I picked up a paintbrush?
Right.
And I have these ideas flowing. So definitely kind of pivoting a little bit to block off more time for myself as an artist, so that I can produce the work that I want, because it's important, I feel like,
That's what's up. So now we're gonna get into our, kind of our final segment, which is dropping gems, and this is where you'll be able to, pass on some jewels from your journey.
Okay.
So, what are 3 tips that you would give someone, a creative that's just starting their path? Maybe they're in corporate or whatever, and they're just starting to look at art as maybe a full-time thing or a much bigger part of their life.
Yeah. 3 things. Okay, let me think. 1, for sure, and it's so much easier said than done, but I would say, we're our own worst critics sometimes. Don't knock yourself for wherever you are at. Just know that that's a step, and that when you look back in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, you're going to see that there's been tremendous growth if you keep going. So that's one of them. The other one is don't compare yourself. I guess that kind of falls in line with that too, but don't compare yourself. It's so easy, especially for visual people. We live in a visual, internet world. It's easy to sometimes get either compare yourself or get over-inspired by other people's visual stuff. For me, sometimes I'm like, okay, I got to not look at other art. I try to unfollow some artists. Not that I don't want to support them, but because I'm starting to get too inspired by their own instead of it coming from me. And then I would say the last thing is don't be afraid to value your work. Everybody has to start out somewhere, but at some point, you're not getting paid in exposure. Don't be afraid to ask for the money that you want. Don't be afraid to apply for the things that you want. You might not get them. That's okay, because you keep applying and you learn. why did I not get it? How can I do better next time? And you get more comfortable with the process of saying, I want this amount. I am worth this. I'm going to apply for this. So I would say those are
That's great. I think those were great. Those were definitely some crown jewels. What are 3 books that have, put light on your path or profoundly impacted the way you move?
Ooh. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a minute since I read a book. I ain't had time.
In life. Good night, moon. I don't know. It's all good. In real time, who are some of your current inspirations, models, people whose, pathway or footprint you might be looking to?
Well, I mean, everybody says Kinde Wilde, but and I love his work. I really, really do. I think going to that show was like one of the first times I was like, wow, this is high level, very well known. And this is before the Obama and Michelle portraits. But I was like, wow, this is high level, representational. Like, no, I'm not pretending to be anybody else. This is real. I don't know how to explain it. He was just fully himself and was celebrated for it. So that was really inspiring. Honestly, a local artist that she's my friend and she always gives me advice and stuff is Aramis, A.O. Hammer. She definitely inspires me and pushes me to do more. So I think that's another person that's really inspiring for me.
Shout out to Aramis. You know what I'm saying? She's up on the wall at Liberty Bank building,
She's doing big things. That's all I can think of right now.
No,
I'm probably forgetting somebody, but
you can't get everyone every time.
No.
Any good podcasts, blogs, YouTube channels that you follow to keep, help keep you on your toes?
I don't have time.
No, you working.
Honestly, I just signed up for Audible because I was like, I want to get more knowledge, but I don't know where to get it or how to, So honestly, I haven't. It used to be Hella Black, Hella Seattle. Those are my girls. I used to go to them, but unfortunately, they're not together anymore. But yeah, so that was the only podcast I listened to before. So.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you. Definitely, if there's anything else you want to say to the people, let people know how they can follow you, keep up with you.
Yeah.
Anything coming up?
Yep. So I've got, on the 19th, we've got the holiday celebration at Liberty Bank. And again, that is sponsored by Africatown. You just go to the website. It's AXSM and we've got an events page there. I've got my shopping page. I've got the gallery, all that kind of stuff on there. And then that's on a Thursday. That's all ages. And then on the 20th is Heart in the Paint, and that's going to be at Eden, which is in Soto. And again, that's an art and music showcase, paint class, and after party. So those are the 2 things that I have going right now.
And then social media, et cetera.
Yeah.
How people can follow
on
you.
Instagram, it's _AXSM. So art by Stephanie Morales. And Facebook is AXSM Art LLC. And all of those can be accessed through the website. There's the buttons to click and go straight there.
Cool. Well, this has been a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming out and spending some time with us. We hope this is not the last time. But this is our time for today. So, as we always do about this time, we want to let y'all know, tap in, don't tap out. Peace.